On the news, Imo State Police Commissioner deploys team to fish out killers of 4 policemen. Federal government begins sale of 50 kg rice for 40,000 naira to address rising cost of food. And organizers reject IGP's proposal for confined protests, insist on street processions. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Timisola Atiku. We begin in Imo State, southeast Nigeria, where the Commissioner of Police Aboki Danjuma has condemned the attack and gruesome murder of 4 police operatives and a civilian by gunmen suspected to be members of the proscribed IPOB ESN. The operatives were ambushed and killed while on routine patrol along the Owerri-Onitsha Expressway. A point-of-sale POS operator was fatally hit during the gun duel. The injured victim was rushed to a nearby hospital where he is currently responding to treatment. According to a statement from the Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Henry Okoye, upon learning of the tragic incident, the Commissioner immediately mobilized to the scene to assess the situation firsthand. In response, the CP has deployed tactical units to track down those responsible for the assault. As part of measures to alleviate the impact of the nation's economic hardship on citizens, the Nigerian government says it has begun the distribution of additional 10 trucks of 50 kg rice to each state to be sold at designated centers at 40,000 naira per bag. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, revealed this on Monday while briefing journalists on the outcome of the cabinet meeting, also attended by the leadership of the National Assembly and presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja. According to the minister, this was one of several initiatives by the Tinubu administration to ease living conditions for citizens. The government also announced that it has asked the NNPC Limited to commence the sale of crude to Dangote Refinery and other local refineries in the local currency, the Naira. There are details in this report. This is the first time the leadership of the legislature will join the meeting of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, following the announcement by young Nigerians to commence a 10-day nationwide protest from August 1 to demand a reversal of some of government's policies. Since the announcement, there have been numerous calls and appeals made by the federal government to the yet-to-be-identified organizers to shelve the protest. Briefing State House correspondents at the end of the council meeting, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris listed some of the actions taken by the government to reduce the negative impact of its policies on Nigerians, including food distribution, implementation of student loans, and sale of food at subsidized prices.
The federal government has begun the disbursement of the students' loans. There's a provision already of over 2 million for over 2 million students. Only about 110,000 applications have thus far been received in the as at last week. Of course, more are going to come. So there is adequate provision for all those who are qualified, who can access these loans, and who have fulfilled these conditions. The desire of Mr. President is that no student, no young person that has gained admission into any of our tertiary institutions will be left out because his parents or his guardian is unable to pay for his fees.
Another fallout from the meeting is a directive by President Bola Tinubu to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited to sell crude oil to Dangote Petroleum Refinery and other refineries in Naira, to ensure the stability of the pump price of refined fuel and the dollar-naira exchange rate.
We spend roughly 30 to 40% of our foreign exchange today on importation of PMS that we consume. And in monetary terms, monthly, we spend roughly $660 million in these exercise. And if you annualize that, that one will give us $7.92 billion pressure that we have. With this approval today through FEC, led by Mr. President, this has reduced by minimum of 90%.
On his part, the Minister of Health, Ali Pate, says FEC has approved 7,887 sets of dialysis consumables for 7 tertiary health institutions to reduce the cost of healthcare for citizens.
And this effort by Mr. President is to bring relief within the context of several other policy measures to ensure that Nigerians have access to critical healthcare services. And with this approval, we'll provide those, and I think it will bring relief to many Nigerians and their families.
The council also approved 1.4 trillion naira for some road projects across the country. Minister of Works, David Umahi, who briefed State House correspondents, says the cost of some of the projects was reviewed upward.
The Beni-Akure-Ilesha road, and that's 150 kilometers by 2. So we're looking at 300 kilometers here, and the total contract sum is 525 billion awarded to high tech to use concrete, pavement to do it. So it's been approved. And then we have the third one, Beni-Akure-Ilesha. That's section 2, and that's 66 kilometers awarded to high tech. To know that this project has been, on in terms of procurement since September 2023, is part of the supplementary budget.
Following the signing of the new National Minimum Wage Act bill, Senate President Godswill Akpabio disclosed that the amendment to the 2024 Appropriation Act, which will fund the new 70,000 naira minimum wage, is expected to be passed by the National Assembly on Wednesday, July 4. According to the Senate President, the new act applies to all employers of labor in the country, including federal, state, and local governments, as well as private sector employers. Simisola Adigun, TV 360 News. Meanwhile, the president of the Nigerian Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says Nigerians have the right to protest but should not abuse it as an opportunity to cause violence. Akpabio spoke in Abuja on Monday at the State House while reacting to the planned 10-day nationwide protest against hunger starting from August 1. He added the current economic challenges facing Nigerians are the outcome of years of misrule by past administrations. Akpabio also accused politicians who lost out during the last general elections of being the brains behind the protest to take over the government through the back door.
So I want to use this opportunity to call on those who are attempting to foment trouble, that you have a right to protest. It's your fundamental right. It is there in the Constitution, but you don't have a right to destabilize the country. A right to protest should not be turned into a right to unleash violence. It's very clear that people who are already, it's already very amorphous, very faceless. So what it means is that people are preparing to loot and go around and do all sorts of things. Where we are today was not caused by 1 year's administration. It is the outcome of years of insecurity. Many people could not go to farms for almost 10 years and all that, and the president has risen to the occasion. Every food item that is coming in now will come in without anything like a restriction. There's no restriction. Bring in food because Nigerians need to eat. And then at the same time, most things are coming in with a lot of waivers. So for me, I'm excited that, yes, indeed, the government is doing what it should. And we, the leaders in the National Assembly, we are touching our various constituencies. So my appeal to the Nigerian youth is do not allow any group to mislead you politically. People who probably did not have their fortunes in 2023 election are thinking they can come through the back door. That will amount to anarchy. Any destruction of any property will cost Nigeria money, and we don't have the money. Instead, let's put the money in developing you and developing your environment instead of going to rebuild.
Ahead of the planned #EndBadGovernance protest slated for August 1 to 10, 2024, organizers have rejected the proposal by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to stage a confined demonstration. At a meeting with the organizers on Tuesday, the IGP suggested confined protests in identified locations and advised against street rallies. However, senior lawyer Ebun Olu Adegborua and representative of the Take It Back movement, one of the groups organizing the nationwide protest, rejected the proposal of the IGP. The IGP had earlier said security agencies will under no circumstances allow a repeat of the 2020 #EndSARS protest where lives and properties were lost. Joining me to discuss this further is Public Affairs Analyst Achike Chude. Thank you, sir, for your time. Now, what's your take on this proposal that organizers of the protest should opt for confined demonstration while the police provides protection, which one of the organizers of the protest have now rejected? Is this a fair deal coming from the IGP?
It's not a deal. The IGP is not in a position to make a deal on matters such as this. I'm glad when you are reading it, the issue was the suggestion. And so the IGP was hoping that, the organizers or those behind the protest would agree to that. But obviously it is not in the position of, it's not the position of the IGP to determine how Nigerians are going to protest about the problems they are facing as a result of bad governance. And they have rightly rejected, that, obviously. So the duty of the police, the duty of the IGP is to make sure that he provides adequate security. And I think he has spoken well in that direction, while not threatening the, protesters. And I think he has promised that they are going to provide protection for the protest to make sure that it is not hijacked by other elements. And I think probably what the IGP was trying to do was to see whether they could conserve resources. Because if the protesters find themselves, in a particular confinement, then it might be easier, for them to spend less resources to give them adequate protection. But don't forget that this is a gathering of Nigerian youths from everywhere. For instance, in a place like Lagos. Lagos is made up of so many local governments, and you're going to have different people from each local government, involved in the protests, and perhaps, who knows, all over the country. We don't know exactly how it is going to devolve. And so it is not possible that you're going to confine these people to just one particular location, because so many will want to, take part in it. And let me just say this, that Nigerians, when they are protesting, are not going there with the intention to loot and to cause violence and to cause mayhem and anarchy. They are not wired that way. They are protesting about hunger, and so nothing concerns them with causing destruction and damage to people's property, unless the government...
Next question, Mr. Chude, sorry to cut you short now. Is there still a justifiable reason to stage this protest, especially now that the Nigerian government has said it will look into the demands made by citizens?
I don't know. I mean, this problem has persisted for some time. It has been on even before this government came in, and I agree with Akpabio. What is happening is as a result of years of misgovernance in the past and in the present. The political class has not changed its behavior, its attitude. They have continued to do things the way they have always done it, in spite of the grave difficulties that we are facing. They have continued to live larger than life, to show themselves as a living above the dire socioeconomic conditions in the country. I think that's just the way this is. And of course, the government, yes, in fairness to the government, they have tried to make one or two attempts to redress the issue. But all of these attempts, a lot of them are, believe me, actually quite laughable. And you want to ask yourself how they could have settled, who advised them. This issue of sending how many trucks to each local government in the country. In some local governments, you have up to maybe perhaps 1 million people. 500,000 people bringing a bag or 2 bags of rice to that, or 10, even 20 bags of rice to that local government. How are they going to divide? How are they going to share it? I think what the government should concentrate on is teaching people how to fish and to stop giving people fish, because it is not yielding any meaningful dividend. And so the best intentions of government and the best efforts of government have not actually been able to change the situation. And then so it continues to be a very difficult situation for. Don't forget that what this is all about is about the existence of the Nigerian people. It's about the ability to feed themselves. It's about the ability to feed their children who are starving. It's about the ability to buy drugs and medicines when they are sick. And so it's an existential situation, and then the political class needs to show Nigerians that they are willing to make sacrifices. The billions of naira that they are collecting as allowances should be stopped immediately. Their salary allowance, yes, they have done well. They say they are going to reduce it by about 40%. But that's not where the issue is. The issue is in the allowances. You cannot continue to give the impression through the way you live that Nigeria has so much money. And then when it comes to the ordinary people, they find themselves in all manners of suffering. I think that this is what has brought about this unfortunate situation.
Wow. Political affairs analyst Mr. Achike Chude, thank you very much for lending your thoughts on this development. Still on the planned nationwide protest, the leadership of Indigbo in the All Progressives Congress APC has appealed to its members to desist from participating in the 10-day demonstration starting from August 1. Speaking at a press briefing in Lagos on Tuesday, the apex leader of the group, Joe Igbokoe, and his deputy, Jude Idimogu, said considering the fallout of the 2020 EndSARS protest, which resulted in massive looting and destruction of many businesses in the state, all members must refrain from taking part in the protest. The group further appealed to the Igbo community in Lagos and all indigenes to support the President Tinubu administration for the good of the Commonwealth.
Days of rage, go and find the meaning. It's a violent action leading to complete destruction, and if care is not taken, lives will be lost and properties will be lost. And that's what it means. And the truth of the matter is that we can't see the faces of those. They have been invited to come and present their case. They see, but they are hiding. Some of them are overseas. So that's why, because it's easy to start something, but control is the matter, is the issue. An appeal, and we want all the market leaders to take notice that the investment of Ndibo in the various markets cannot be overemphasized. Hence, we want to take this appeal to the grassroots of Ndibo living in Lagos. Please do everything you can to avoid this protest. Do everything you can to avoid it.
On behalf of the women in APC Lagos and the Nigerian women, I want to urge all the women in Lagos, Ndibo women and the Nigerian women, to refrain from joining in the proposed or planned protest. As a woman, we are the pillars of the family. We are the bridge. We cannot partake in anything that will bring pains to our loved ones, to our families, and to our society.
We'll take a break now, but coming up, Team Nigeria's captain Anoluwapo Okoyori takes center stage in badminton at the 2024 Olympics. We'll bring you details when News Now returns. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Commissioner of Police in Imo State, Aboki Danjuma, has condemned the attack and gruesome murder of 4 police operatives and a civilian by gunmen suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. The operatives were ambushed and killed while on routine patrol along Owerri-Onitsha Express Road. A civilian was also fatally hit and injured in the gun duel. In response, the police commissioner has deployed tactical units to track down those responsible for the assault. We also told you that ahead of the planned #EndBad Governance protest slated for August 1 to 10, 2024, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has directed police top brass to protect intending participants. Just last week, the IGP had requested the names and other details of intending participants of the forthcoming protest as a condition to protect demonstrators. However, the condition was immediately rejected by many Nigerians. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians have said in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Well, let's join Joy Uchejin for more stories in the world of business. What's the latest, Joy?
Well, thank you, Simi, and welcome to Business News. Now, the importation of vehicles into Nigeria dropped from 28,024 units in the first quarter of 2023 to 10,991 units in the same quarter of 2024, representing a 60.8% decrease. This is according to the Nigerian Ports Authority. In a document released on Tuesday, the figure represents a 4.3% decrease from the 275 ships that visited the nation's seaports within the same period in 2023. It also showed that the total cargo volumes declined within the period under review, reflecting a contraction in trade activities and potentially signaling underlying economic challenges or shifts in the import-export balance. Still on business, in a bid to address ongoing food security in Nigeria and African continent by extension, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in collaboration with the Agri-Met Regional Center, has advocated for the use of advanced tools in agricultural monitoring and yield estimation. Speaking at a workshop focused on food security strategies in Nigeria and Africa, the National Coordinator, Department of National Program on Food Security in the Ministry, Amo Anthony, highlighted the government's ongoing efforts and strategies to enhance food security. He emphasized on the importance of increasing agricultural yields to support farmers and ensure food security. On his part, a representative of Agri-Met Regional Center, Marshall Traore, highlighted the critical need for accurate information to tackle the ongoing food security crisis in West Africa.
I want to enjoin participants to pay attention because this is very, very key. By the time you're able to get a good grasp of the tool, it will help in your country, and it's not just for you as a department. This has been, it has been encouraged to have a multidisciplinary working group, and that is why you see today we have people from the Meteorological Services, Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and we have statisticians.
This tool is very, very important, and as he said, developed by CIRAD, it's been enjoying a global recognition as one of the best tools for crop yield estimation.
Agrimet Regional Center has specialized by production information, accurate information about identification area and identify population in food crisis. So it's in fact that this year, this food security issue is a point. We have more than 49 million of persons in food insecurity in our region at that time.
Government has been doing very well in the area of food security, and there has been a lot of capacity building going on in government institutions. And that is why the government is encouraging this workshop today to make sure that they also improve on food security. So we feel that this workshop is also to enhance the level of food security in this country.
We'll take a short break and return with stock market reports. Welcome back. Nigeria's equities market on Tuesday continued its movement into the negative territory as more investors sold stock like Nestle, United Capital, and Africa Prudential. On the downside, United Capital came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 9.92% at 34 naira, followed by Nestle at 830 naira per share. Now, by the end of the first trading day, on the second trading day of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 399 million volumes of shares in 10,447 deals, corresponding to a market value of 8 billion naira, were traded. Now, on the global front, European markets ended lower on Tuesday, hurt by losses in the beverage sector after the Ego hit a 4-year low following an annual profit miss and by a decline in mining stocks. US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei, however, continued in the bullish territory. Now, switching over to Forex, the Naira remained the same, trading at 1,600 Naira to a dollar on the black market. The British pound, however, experienced another drop at 2,018 Naira on the black market, while euros traded at 1,740 Naira. That wraps up our business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Joy. And on the foreign scene, 17 human skulls buried in metal boxes have been discovered at a suspected shrine in the center of Uganda. According to local media, children foraging for firewood outside Kabanga village near Mpigi town, about 40 kilometers west of the capital, Kampala, made the grisly discovery on Monday. The regional police spokesman, Majid Karim, says the remains were being examined to determine their age and sex, as well as when they may have been buried. Finally, on sport, Nigeria's badminton star Oluwapo Opeyori has declared his readiness to compete for honors at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Opeyori will begin his medal quest against Switzerland's Tobias Kwenzi at the La Chapelle Arena on Tuesday. The 27-year-old took to social media to express his readiness for the clash with Kwenzi. The athlete will be making his second appearance at the Olympics following his debut 4 years ago in Tokyo. That's all on news now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.